Hello everyone, I'm Meg Oliver in New York and welcome to this edition of Money Matters. Starting your own small business can be totally consuming. It requires substantial discipline and diligence, and there are many things that can go wrong if certain issues are overlooked. To avoid that, we have small business expert on hand, Andre Taylor, with some tips on what small CEOs need to pay close attention to be a success. Andre is the author of the book You Can Still Win. He's got lots of good advice for us this morning. And Andre, let's start off with, most people only think of CEOs in terms of these big corporations, but there are CEOs of small businesses and they have a lot of important decisions to make.
Absolutely. I think when you're running a small business, it's very important to really look at yourself as a CEO and not just a business owner, but really think about it in a much bigger and much more strategic way and really realize that there's so much that you have to plan for and understand how to do, and if you do it well, you can be very, very successful.
So what's the biggest difference between a business owner and a CEO?
Well, very often a business owner is someone who, we like to say sometimes, has in effect bought themselves a job. They have a job, but they're in effect someone who has financed that. They've bought a small store or something like that where they sort of pay themselves. I think a CEO is someone who really thinks of themselves as really the pilot of a business and is really looking to grow that business in a unique way.
All right, let's get to the important stuff now and the things we need to focus on. First up, business strategy and a plan.
Yeah, it's very important when you're starting a business and as you're building a business to have a plan. Now, I'm not talking about a lengthy plan where there are hundreds and hundreds of pages, but you should know where your business is going, what's unique about you in the market, and what you're going to put emphasis on. How are you going to grow this business to the point where it actually has impact out there in the market?
Can you get into financial trouble if you don't have a plan?
Oh yeah, you can get into financial trouble because what happens very often is you find yourself going in a direction that really doesn't make sense. And I think it's worth taking a little bit of time and thinking it through. You have to be careful that you don't make it just work on paper, though, that your plan is really reflective of understanding how your market works and how your customers work.
All right, next on your list, it is unique products, services, and experiences. You need to stand out from the crowd.
Absolutely. There's so many Me Too businesses out there. And Meg, I think what's important as you're growing a business is to think about what new thing am I bringing to this market, to this industry, and to my customer. Why should they come and work with me? Why should they come and patronize my business? How do I put a spin on this so that they really feel special about doing business with me?
And how important is a game plan to acquire these customers?
Oh, that's particularly important because you don't want a scenario where you have customers occasionally. You want customers that are ongoing. So one of the most important things about growing a business is actually figuring out how you're going to get that customer and how you're going to keep getting them. Rarely does a business fail when they have a strategy to keep a flow of customers coming in all the time.
All right, this next tip you say can be tricky, and it's a system to manage people and processes. Explain why that is tends to be a little difficult.
Well, one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs face is dealing with people. A lot of times we have our own ideas and our own strategies about how to do things, and sometimes we're very hands-on in our business and we don't want to let go, but we have to work with other people, and we not only have to work with other people, we have to develop those people, we have to lead those people, we have to inspire those people, and we have to make those people feel part of what we're growing, and that's sometimes hard. It's important for a small business CEO to think about training, to think about development, and to think about leadership as a key component of their strategy.
Well, after you get the customers, Andre, how do you retain them?
Well, retaining a customer might be developing a loyalty plan. It might mean staying in touch with them over a period of time. It might mean developing a level of specialized services. Loyalty is quite important, and you can only develop that by giving your customers lots of attention.
All right, and how important is it for a small business CEO to build company value?
It's very important. I was talking with a client of mine at one point, and I said, you should consider selling your business. He said, who would buy this business? And he didn't realize that he had actually developed something that was quite significant. The way you realize that is to really make sure your paperwork is all in order, make sure things are documented, and make sure that you think of what you're developing as products and services as opposed to just you doing what you do every day.
All right, and finally, a strategy for maximizing personal effectiveness and personal improvement in your business skills.
Yeah, there's so much to learn as a business owner, and we've got to look at our own personal growth. In addition to all of these other things, we've got to be effective, we've got to be strong in our abilities, and of course there are things that we don't know that we need to learn. So we need to be pretty proactive in going out there and learning new skills and learning how the industry works and taking that to new levels so that our business can grow.
All right, we're almost out of time, but any final thoughts on, for people considering giving this a shot?
Well, I think that the most important thing to think about when you think about this concept is that it's very easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and forget that you're growing a business, and that just like the person that runs a large organization, you have a lot of things that you've got to pay attention to and you've got your finger on. So keep your finger on the pulse of your business, focus on these individual areas, and as you develop those individual areas, you'll have an exciting and very dynamic business.
All right, Andre Taylor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Meg.